What's good, YouTube? Unfortunately, family drama family dysfunction is very common in America, 2026. We have a very sick society, and that bleeds into every aspect of our existence, including the family structure. My family life, my history, my origin story is a little crazy, a little chaotic. Go figure. Um, but the short version is my mom was not a great mom. She had multiple husbands and multiple baby daddies. We lived in a trailer park at parts of our life, and she ultimately ended up just abandoning the family. And then my biological dad was never in the picture. And then when 30 years later he came into the picture, he turned out to be kind of just a douche. So, uh, with that origin story and the knowledge that I have a twin brother, Adam, this video is dedicated to you. But for anybody else that is bored and watches it, I figured they should get a little backstory. And so, uh, family trauma is something I have had to heal from, and it's taken many years. I'm 38. I turned 39 this year, and I still am struggling to fully heal. As almost embarrassing as that is to admit, but then when I again look back at our society and see how fucked up so many things are, and how fucked up so many people are, I give myself a little bit of compassion. And then there's also the Jesus thing, like, Jesus teaching forgiveness was transformative for the human experience. Uh, Anyways, this video is dedicated to my brother. That's why I started talking by family dysfunction. He and I do not have a good relationship. I wish we did. I do desire for strong fraternal connections and bonds in my life, so that brotherly connection. Uh, and it doesn't have to be by blood. It could be just a really good bro. I used to have a lot of really good bros, but over the years, a lot of people have decided to play into the sick society and perpetuate the paradigm opposed to resisting it. And unfortunately, I don't think my brother Adam, I don't think you're intentionally perpetuating the paradigm, but I do feel like you are not focusing on your healing journey, and it is very evident and apparent. Uh, I wish we could have a relationship. I do, but your last text to me that I'm not going to reply to, where you name called me and you brought up narratives that were very telling, calling me spoiled, for example. Um, that was very telling to me that you're holding on to that narrative, this idea that I was spoiled somehow. And you might have things that you are resentful about, but I can tell you I was not spoiled. I was helped in a lot of ways, but I was also hurt in a lot of ways. And so when you only look at one side of that equation, when you only look at the one side, it's easy to get a clouded, sort of assessment of what happened. And you don't even know fully what happened because we went separate ways. But, anyways, to me, it's telling me you're still holding on to trauma and you need to let go. It's really hard to do. I know, because I'm still unpacking my own shit too. But if you want to have a relationship with me, you need to heal a little bit because in my healing journey, I've stopped letting abusive people into my life. And It sounds crazy because we grew up in an abusive environment, so you think abuse is normal. You think that it is acceptable, and it's not. You have to unlearn a lot of these things. So when I stopped letting abusive people into my life, that includes you, because you cannot call me names and you cannot shit on me, like calling my lame ass YouTube channel small and insignificant. And then what did you say? You can't do those things and expect me to want to have a relationship with you. I know that mom was very, abusive, and it's really funny. Um, you reminded me of mom. One thing that you did when I asked what you needed to communicate with me about, uh, when you said I don't need, and you highlighted the word need, or you capitalized, excuse me, all of the letters in the word need. I don't need to talk to you. I simply would like to. That was such a mom, like passive aggressive, feminine thing. And if there's anybody else watching besides you, for the record, my brother is a gay man. So it's kind of funny that he's got this, sassiness that my mom had to him, this bitterness and sassiness. Um, and it was just funny. Uh, I do want to maybe say I forgive you. I forgive you for things that happened in our childhood, and I forgive you even for the things you just said. But that doesn't mean I want you in my life. The forgiveness is more for me. It allows me to let go. So maybe you should learn to forgive a little bit, forgive others, but then also forgive yourself. Um, you gotta learn, you gotta start there, I believe. And you've got this pattern. Every 6 months to a year, you always try to reach out. And when I don't welcome you with open arms, you get abusive. And I wonder if there is maybe a pattern of like drug use, and then you maybe try to get clean but then you relapse. I just wonder where your mind is at. Yes, I smoke a lot of pot. I admit that. I'm an addict too. So let he who is free from sin cast the first stone. But I wonder what drugs you might be using that might be a little bit crazier than pot. And then I would encourage you to look at your patterns and your cycles, because that's what we need to break. That's what I've been trying to break myself, our patterns and cycles. We have generational trauma from patterns of abuse that have been passed on from who knows how far back. But mom was abusive. You know that some of the men she was with were abusive. You know that grandma and grandpa were abusive. Uh, I don't know all of the details of what mom went through, but I know some of them, and it's kind of horrific. And so it is our duty, those of us in the spiritual community, if other people are watching, we always talk about breaking generational traumas and generational curses. Brother, that is our duty. And I wish and I hope and I pray that you are able to make progress on that front, because I would like to have a relationship with you, but it needs to be a healthy relationship. And, I hope, that you are happier than I am as you claim to be. But in my experience, happy people don't brag about how happy they are, and then they don't put other people down. Uh, I could be wrong, but if you would like a relationship with me, you need to start treating me with dignity and respect. We're not kids anymore. Even though we're stuck in these childlike traumas, we have to grow out of it. And part of that involves treating one another like humans, like adults, with compassion, with patience, with love, not with anger and resentment and bitterness. Stop throwing your poison at me. Transmute your shit and let's reconnect. I love you, brother. Please do the work.